Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Swiss Round. Today we're doing more plane reviews. This time finally starting with the X1IDFK by Drake Kerman. As you might have guessed, this is not a replica of any real plane. In fact, this episode's theme, I guess you could say, is not any real planes. That way I can just go over some of them without having to have Wikipedia open because, to be honest, I'm just feeling a bit lazy today. So, like I said, this is made by Drake Kerman. The center of lift seems to be in a good place. It's got far too many vertical stabilizers. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with too many vertical stabilizers, but I'm just making fun of how it has spines, spiky spines of whatever those little winglets are called. I forgot what they're called. They are called basic fins. Well, that makes sense. Also, they're not winglets. They're fins. But, oh, these are all cargo bays on the side. The middle is fuel. The sides are cargo bays. Is there anything in here, though? Well, the rear is cargo bays. I guess the front is fuel tanks. But there doesn't seem to be anything in there. Yes, that is fuel. That is fuel. We have up to 4 pilots can be in this. And it doesn't have any information on it, nor does it seem to have any kind of action group setup. Yeah, so let's see how it flies. Because a giant flying wing makes perfect sense aerodynamically, and nothing could possibly go wrong with that design. Correct? Correct? No, maybe. I don't know. Are these adjustable landing gears? No, I can't. So come on, come on. Yeah, those are adjustable landing gears. Okay, so it does use that mod. I think that's the only mod it uses, though. Looks like it. I don't see anything else that stands out as obviously modded. It does drift to the left a bit. Don't know why, but it's drifting to the left. Oh, you know what? Your rear landing gear are really far back. So this is the standard problem that I see almost... This is like the most common problem I see, is having the rear landing gear so far back that your plane cannot lift off. Right. The lights on the end of the runway are a bit of a hazard for planes like that, but yes, it cannot lift without falling off the end of the runway, which leads it, and that combined with the fact that it drifts to the left, led it to take out one of the landing approach lights and die horribly. That was okay. Now, assuming you can actually get to the end of the runway and fall off without it colliding into those. Oh yeah, I forgot these make noise when you raise them. That startled me. I thought something had broken with my computer. Yes, once you're in the air, however, this thing does have massive control surfaces on the back here, and those massive control surfaces allow it to be fairly maneuverable. Flies fairly slow, although that's kind of expected considering the amount of drag that must be produced by this shape. Just gonna make a guess there. Lots of lift. Where's the drag indicators? Well, we're not seeing a lot of drag indicators, but I'm sure there's some drag from the, whatchamacallits, the deflection of, like, deflection? I'm not sure if that's not even the right word, I'm pretty sure, but, like, the difference in vector between where we're actually going and where the lift is, like, it's slowing us down a little bit. I am not good with words sometimes, but yes, flying fairly well. Let's go ahead and rolls very slowly. Of course, thank you to, I forgot who it was now that explained that to me, but someone explained to me that basically the reason you could have something that has like massive control surfaces like this, but still rolls extremely slowly, is basically the inherent stability of the craft, aka the amount of giant-ass wings it has on it, make it not want to roll. Yep. I knew that was going to happen. See, if I'd stopped talking, I probably could have focused enough to stop hitting the wrong buttons and save that. But no. So yeah, there you have it. A giant-ass flying wing that yaws a bit too hard, doesn't roll very well, and I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, it's got some cargo space, so if you want to put some cargo in there, you can. But it is overall... Ooh, I do not like the random lag. Let's see. Looking this way, no lag. Looking this way... Actually, still no lag. Okay, never mind. That was weird. Next up, this is by Soundwave. It is the Micro Estal waterplane, which is the result of a micro highway I must have typoed this when I was copying it down. Highway. High center line, I think, is probably, maybe, no, a high wing. A high wing. I should have said high wing, and I said highway. The result of a micro high wing plane experiment, with floats added later. So yeah, it's a amphibious craft. It can land on a runway or in the water, and I do like it. I like the look of it. It looks pretty nice. Interesting. Oh, but you see, these are deflected downwards to help with the fact that the center of lift is so far back. So it should be alright. Also, the engine is a little bit below the center of mass, which means it will have a little bit of assistance in vertical pitch, at least when you have the engine on. Alright, here we are on the runway. Engaging primary engine. Can you see the... Aw, cool! I love this. You can see the wing in the cockpit, so you can look at the wing. And if I'm like... Well, I shouldn't be rolling right now while I'm trying to take off. I should just... Okay, I'm in the air. Landing gear up. Rolling that way, rolling that way. See, you can see the little I love that. I love when you're just in a cockpit and you can just see part of the plane working out the side. Okay, let's actually pay attention to how it's actually flying. So, we're at a slower speed. It's kind of what I expected. I expected it to be a little bit slower. Let's see what it says for drag and stuff. Yeah, those structural parts are supposed to have a lot of drag, and they do. Looks like we have, okay, 2 pieces for the control surface for the ailerons for rolling. Then we have, of course, pitch in the back and yaw in the back. It's standard. It's what you'd expect. It has lights on it, which is really cool. I actually really want to see how this thing does at night. But first, before I do that, let's go ahead and attempt a landering water. I just remembered that I was supposed to check the action groups and description before trying it, and I will definitely do that after I inevitably crash in the water. So, let's try landing it without knowing anything about how to land it, and then we'll go from there. I'm actually trying to close this ladder. There we go. Alright, paying attention to what's going on. We're gonna hit the water at a bad angle here. Yep, that's not good. Told you that wasn't good. I mean, it's survivable, but it's not exactly how it's supposed to land. Very nice. Alright, so, 1 for flaps. Use the SAS to land on water and watch your sink rate. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting it to be. And, oh yeah, I'm guessing that he would have mentioned the other action groups if there were any others. And now that the sky is covered in blood, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do something about the scatterer mod, just kind of fucking things up. Here we go again. Ah yes, so this is what it looks like with flaps enabled. Alright, let's put the throttle up to the 3rd tick. Does it have any air brake functionality? No, it does not. Okay. Okay, I think we need to throttle up a bit more than that. Alright, we're gonna keep the throttle at 1/3 here. And we're gonna see if we can land safely with the throttle at 1/3. Or if we'll die trying. In this blood-ridden sky. Blood-ridden? Blood... I don't know. Bloody sky. Blood. Sky of blood. Blood? I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, come on, lag. Why are you doing this to me? Yeah, it's definitely the scatterer mod thing. I don't know what went wrong with it, but I'm gonna have to fix it. And by fix it, I mean disable it and then update it at some point in the future. Which is unfortunate, but, oh well. I think we'll be okay. Let's, try and get this at a good rate of sync rate. Sync rate! Sync rate! No. Alright, I can let it drop a little quicker. Alright, that's a bit too quick. Oh, I'm trying to pull up as hard as I can now and it's just fallen. There we go! Nothing broke. Alright, so, you probably want to have your throttle just a little bit higher than I did, but it is possible to land at that throttle. Now that we've successfully demonstrated the capability to land in the water, let's see how well it takes off from the water. Because, you know, it's not so good to land in the water if you can't take off from it again. I like that. We're just getting like little spread effects on the water from that. Wow, those splashes are really laggy. That's weird. I didn't know that would happen. So there you go. The Micro, short takeoff and landing, waterplane. Coming to a sea near you. Oh, I thought I was going to crash there. I was completely prepared to crash there. But, seems that the world had other plans for me. Let's just crash into the ground. Gently crash it. Gently crash it. Oh. Yep, gently crashing it. I'm surprised how well it can take just shoving it into the ground like that. That's nice. Got the little spotlights on the wings. Very nice. I'm actually going to restart the program now to fix the sky issues. Alright, and after taking forever for the game to reload, I'm back. I'm going to blame this craft. That's why it took forever to load. I'm just going to blame that craft because that craft required me to install curb paint, and KSP has slowed down dramatically since I installed curb paint. I might have broken something. But that is not what we're looking at just yet, because first we must look at the microjet, which looks pretty cool. I hope that's disabled. Good, it's disabled. I hate when there's a thing that's... I hate when there's a control surface that's clipped in with something else and it's enabled, so as you're driving around, whatever, you just see it going through things in an impossible way. I always find that annoying. But this person, this is Soundwave, again, this is another Soundwave craft. He made sure that that would not happen, so I am happy with that. It is indeed a microjet, or at least a smaller jet. I wouldn't quite call it a microjet, because it's still a bit bigger than the smallest jets I've seen, but it is pretty small. It has no description or action groups, apparently. Okay, I was told to check, but okay. And here we go, down the runway, in slow motion. Go faster. I mean, it'll go pretty fast, because it's got two giant well, not giant, but it's got two turbojets, and it's a small craft. So it should be able to get going fairly quickly. It also... I'm sorry, I just have to zoom in on this. So pretty. Except for that bit. That bit's a little pixely. But look at this. Sorry. What was I saying? Something about quick takeoff and well-designed, or at least it appears to be well-designed so far. Let's see how quickly it'll get up to a very high speed. I mean, it's already at a very high speed. I just noticed. It has two drogue chutes on the front capsule. No eject system, but it does have two chutes there, which makes me think it is designed to survive being blown apart, possibly due to things like this. No? Okay. It held itself together quite well in an extreme aerodynamic situation like that. Very nice. I like how you've made it so that this will just about touch that without clipping into it. Oh, never mind. It's clipping into it. Damn it. Oh, it's clipping through it. Ah, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. I hate when I see control surfaces do that. However, in this plane, this being, you know, a little fighter like that, you almost never pitch down in a plane, and when you do, you pitch down a little bit. So you probably wouldn't ever see that. The only reason I saw it was because I was specifically looking for it, because I figured it was there and I was scared that it was there. Great roll authority, a bit too much roll authority in my opinion. I might, if it was me, I might disable these and make them flaps or something, just because flaps for no apparent reason. That's also the kind of way I do things with air brakes. Of course, this has proper air brakes, so you can slow right down, or in this case, not slow down very much because it has very powerful engines that are still on to maximum. See, those produce a huge amount of drag, but it's nothing compared to the power produced by these engines. You know, it'd be cool if in the aerodynamic forces thing, they could also show the forces of engines. Like, it just occurred to me that it'd be really cool to also see the forces of engines, because I'd like to see that while I'm looking at those things. Anyhow, let's turn that off. Do a bit of a barrel roll. A bit of a barrel roll, because it didn't look much like a barrel roll. Hold on, let's try this. There we go. That looks better. Barrel rolls. Fairly maneuverable. I might not survive this. No? Okay, never mind. That was good. Okay. Fairly maneuverable. Still, I've seen things going faster and being more maneuverable, but it's pretty good for a standard little tiny microjet, as it says it is. I'm curious how low of an airspeed you could land this at, because that is an interesting... See, because it's tiny, I'm thinking about if you're using it on a carrier, but in order for it to really be useful on a carrier, you'd have to be able to land it with an extremely low airspeed. So if it's small and it can land at a low airspeed, then that is indeed useful for a carrier. So let's see. How slow can we go to land it? Pretty damn slow, actually. Look at that. That thing can stop and drop instantly. The air brakes are actually bigger than the vertical stabilizers, which is kind of funny. But I think this would be great for a carrier. It takes off pretty quick, goes pretty fast. Doesn't have a huge amount of fuel. I just noticed how much fuel we've gone through. Oh, this was empty. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. That was empty too? Did this thing just not start with a lot of fuel? Also, why do you have oxidizer in here? You coulda like... I assume it's for balance purposes. I know, if I remember correctly, it was Soundwave that was telling me he would have oxidizer in a plane for balancing things, but he said he did that with VTOLs normally. Maybe I'm confusing him with someone else. Or maybe this is a mistake. I don't know. In any case, that was... Where is all the fuel? I see all of these that are like turned off. Where is the one fuselage that we have that has fuel like enabled? No, that's the one that's off again. There's like one just hidden in the center here that actually has fuel and everything else does not. That is interesting. Alright, and now it is time to take a look at the plane that I was pretty sure is giving me all the problems I'm having today, because it uses curb paint to have these little pretty red effects. I assume the whole thing is supposed to be red, but I've done something wrong when installing curb paint. That's just a guess. I don't know. But in any case, ugh, the Z fighting. I am so sorry, but the Z fighting is annoying. Is annoying? I don't know why I tried to say it like that. Okay, it's got flare dispensers, it looks like. Yep, flare dispensers. If this was created before the most recent version of BD Armory, these would have been the regular old... what are they called? They were just called countermeasures at that point before BD decided to make it so that they actually have different capabilities or whatever. However, it does have this on it, which makes me think it was made more recently. I forget what this does, but I know it's a new BD part. It's a radar data receiver. Sorry, I have to look these things up once I find out, but I'm glad I know that that's there. That is useful. Now I get why that's useful. So if you have like a radar plane or a radar area in the area, you can use this to use that data to attack. Very useful. Very cool. I've been playing around with the new BD a little bit very recently. He's also got the adjustable landing gear, I see, and some hidden Vulcan cannons there. Is that... Nope, it's just liquid fuselage. I was going to say, is that a cargo bay with more weapons or not? Oh, it's got pylons on it, so you can attach weapons, but he hasn't pre-installed any, so I assume it's supposed to be, hey, put whatever you want on here. Of course, you'd have to extend the height of these adjustable missile rails to put anything useful on them, but we're just going to test the base plane. This, by the way, since I forgot to mention the name of the person who made it, was created by someone whose name I already forgot what they used their name as for do. But they did mention their YouTube channel, which is Killer D Gaming, so I'll say that. I find it interesting that you made roll inactive on various pieces of this, but still left it... I guess it's just you wanted to have a lot of pitch control on board. So you made a lot of things pitch control. I really dislike that these are so, like, this is exactly what I was just talking about, how it's a control surface that just clips through another piece, and that is quite ugly. Not much control authority on this. It is a giant wing with a bunch of control surface at the back, but the amount of control surface at the back is not enough to outweigh how much wing there is. So... fairly good roll rate, but the pitch leaves a bit to be desired. And let's test the yaw. Not very much yaw. Oh, it's not very maneuverables. But it does have a large wing, so crap. I was gonna say, because it has a large wing, it has quite a bit of lift. So that it's got that going for it. But ouch. That did not end well. At least I didn't take out the building this time. Alright, there's one more thing to take a look at today. And that thing is the SP6. I don't know how to react to this. This is by a guy named William, and he told me that this is supposed to be a competitor for the GI-14 Mangle, which is a craft of my design. It definitely looks like something you'd see in like a TV show for like a sci-fi kind of fighter. It's just like, let's just throw winglets everywhere and intakes everywhere and like just have the fuselage do this weird. That is weird. It's only got 2 engines on it though. I would have expected with the all the extra mass that's on here for it to have a 3rd engine. I was kind of expecting it to be a 3rd engine, but okay. It's got 3 air brakes. It's got several vertical stabilizers. I assume you have the pitch controls all set up for things the way you want. These strike me as very strangely out of place. Like, this a little bit too, but not as much. And this a little bit too, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, it just seems a little out of place to me. But then again, we shall have to see the actual performance. One thing to note here, it may work well, it may not, but usually center of lift in front of center of mass is usually not a good idea. Let's go ahead and I've just noticed also the this thing's got to have superb pitch authority. I'm just guessing based on the location, or not necessarily superb. Yeah, superb. I can English. Superb pitch control. Just guessing, but I don't know. It seems like it just might. All right, so right off the bat, I'm just gonna do this comparison. It's got the same number and type of engines as the Mangle, and it's got, let's see, well, from the basecraft itself, it's got several times more fuel. From the basecraft with extra drop tanks, it's got, let's see, the basecraft with extra drop tanks is 1200 on mine, and he's got 2200, so it's got about double the fuel on mine, and that's just with the base form. Getting up to a pretty good speed. I believe the Mangle accelerates faster than this though, so +1 fuel for this one, +1, what's the term, acceleration for the Mangle. Then again, I have to fly the Mangle again to make sure that I'm not mistaken with that number. Seems to be pretty stable in level flight. Let's go ahead and do my favorite test to do with these kinds of things and just pull up as hard as I can. Right. Well, this thing is susceptible to aerodynamic failure at high velocities. The Mangle, at least at low altitudes, is not. The Mangle, I haven't actually tried doing such maneuvers at high altitudes, you know, much higher speeds, less dense air, but overall higher aerodynamic stresses. I haven't tried that, like I said, so I can't say for sure how they compare at a higher altitude, although considering this one broke apart at a lower altitude, it'll probably break apart at a higher altitude. The Mangle, of course, will probably also break apart at a higher altitude. However, one definite advantage it has is that after breaking apart, the front section is very aerodynamic and still controllable. So you can actually coast along and survive quite well with just this front section. And I guess we'll find out. I'm going to fly this long as I can, and we're going to see if you can survive a landing in this, if you can get to a slow enough speed while still maintaining flight, and crash land this in a survivable fashion. Because if so, that's one definite advantage it has. It also has a piece of landing gear still on board, so I might be able to actually, in fact, I'm pretty sure I can based on how this is flying so far. I should be able to put that one bit of landing gear out and just kind of gently hit the ground or stall above the ground, one or the other, and I should be able to land safely, I believe. I'm going to the side a bit, which is dangerous, especially because this does not have a vertical stabilizer on board, because it means that it is very good at side slipping, which is bad for us. We're actually at a low enough speed now to where it is survivable to impact the ground, but I'm actually going to go even slower before touchdown because this thing can, and it means... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, it means we might be able to actually land it with keeping that whole section intact. Unfortunately, I tapped the rear of it on the ground a little too hard. But yes, more survivable, it seems. More fuel, as I'd already stated. Let's see how quickly it takes off, because I believe the Mangle takes off fairly quickly. This also takes off very quickly. Very nice. I have to say, a little nitpick. I really hate seeing landing gear clipped in the way these are on the rear. But I understand KSP's landing gear are very limited, so it is difficult to design anything without having to clip them in some way or another. It is one of my ongoing frustrations. It's got air brakes on the top, just like the Mangle, except the Mangle only has 2. It's got 3. I really love the design. Oh, that's interesting. They kind of, well, the center one directly deflects any air from going over the rear vertical stabilizer, and the side ones almost completely deflect air from going over the rear vertical stabilizers as well. Now, in KSP physics, this is not a problem. In real-life physics, I wonder how much of a problem that would be. Now, this is designed to be super maneuverable, and like I said, a direct competitor to the GI-14. So we're going to go ahead and give that a test by flying around the KSC. Yes, the KSC at high speeds, and whoa! Okay, this thing is a lot more prone to spontaneously deconstructing itself, which is not good. So if you really want to compete, I think you need to try strutting it up a bit more, because I think this craft's biggest weakness is its propensity to fall apart when under extreme aerodynamic stresses. Because other than that, it definitely does seem very powerful. Now, let's see how well... Okay, pulling up as hard as I can. Good, good. It's a bit slower, which is not a good thing, but it is very maneuverable. Very weird looking, which I like. Not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, I just like it. And it flies pretty well. It is slightly unstable. That's one thing I have to say about the Mangle, is that the Mangle is very stable. You stop doing a maneuver, it returns to the orientation of how it was flying perfectly. This thing, you stop a maneuver, and it kind of coasts just a little bit more before actually responding to you stopping the maneuver. This thing also, like I said, it's a bit unstable in that, like, I just feel it kind of slightly not quite wanting to do what I'm telling it to do. It's just got that slight, you know, that... Like I was saying earlier with the center of lift being in front of the center of mass, of course that's not the only indicator of stability. To be honest though, I don't really know, other than just trial and error, how to really tell how stable something is other than using that indicator and just testing, like I said. It'd be great if someone could tell me, because I'd really like to know, because it'd help me designing things in the future. But for now, that's all for this time. I do very much like how crazy this looks, and it definitely would be interesting to see this fight a GI-14. But for now, thanks for watching, and as always, see you in space.